Hi everyone, welcome back to Humans Behind HR. We're back with another interesting conversation today after a bit of a break. I'm relocated to Bangalore, so that took a little bit of time, but I'm really keen to restart our Humans Behind HR series, which is really to
Hello.
identify some amazing professionals who work in HR and understand a little bit about who they are as humans besides the HR professionals. I'm really happy to bring Mitch Duddani today on my episode. She's someone whom I've been interacting for more than 10 years, Mitch, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, yeah, I think the first time I remember I met you in through Bangalore conference, which was hosted by someone outside of India, and I think
True.
after that we kept on meeting in some way, some shape or form. So again, everyone, welcome to the episode. This is a series where we uncover the humans behind it. So, Mitch, welcome to the series, and why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Sarang, for inviting me on your podcast. Hello, everyone. This is Mitch here. My name is Michelle, but brand name is Mitch, and that's how I love to be called as. Born and brought up in Ahmedabad, in Bangalore for last 2 decades now. Yeah, that's me.
Perfect. Um, Mitch, for everyone who's on the podcast, we asked them to complete this sentence, which
Okay.
is, I am human behind HR who. What would be your introduction in that sense?
I am human behind HR who's empowering people and driving success.
Okay, perfect, amazing, amazing. I guess. Uh, also, when I looked at your LinkedIn profile, one of the phrases that really caught my attention where you said, "I'm a limited edition with unlimited potential." So, what does that brand's slogan stands for?
Yeah, so I think that's a little history to it, a story
Hmm.
behind, I would say. And also, I've also read it somewhere and I felt it aligns with my profile, and that's how I kind of made as my tagline now. And
Okay.
I don't know whose line this is, but on internet I have found this. So sort of my journey, my profile has not been something very straight. I always keep saying that how you have an ECG. When you do the ECG, the
Hmm.
report comes in, the ups and
Hmm.
downs and things like that. So that's how my journey also has been. Never thought I would do recruitment on HR. I mean, it was like my third option. When I was growing up, I always wanted to be in the hotel and the restaurant industry, but somehow I did not land up there. Though, when I decided, and I was in that stage where I was just finishing my graduation and my family decided to move to Bangalore. So I did
Hmm.
not do my further studies. So I'm someone who's not done a full time MBA, etc., onto it. So
Okay.
back then, I was not sure what my life is gonna be or what I'm gonna do. Landed up in
Hmm.
Bangalore just after graduation, and just happened to interact with someone. And when I moved to Bangalore 20 years back, the only jobs available that time for graduates were the BPO call center jobs,
Yeah. Yeah.
which would give you
Remember.
money, but then it
Hmm.
had odd hours and calls, outgoing voice, you had both incoming, outgoing kind of thing, and I said that's not something that I want to do in my life. I was very clear.
Hmm. Hmm.
So sometimes I think I always feel that I don't know whether it's I'm fortunate or unfortunate. I may not know what I want to do, but I'm very clear what I don't want to do. uh, so from there, I landed up a job as a project and a sales coordinator in one of the opportunity here. I got in business GAN through a connect here,
Hmm.
and that time we did not have Just Dial and LinkedIn and all of that. So they had a handbook which would help admin facilities and HR folks that they have all these contact. It was like a membership directory. They had
Okay.
the contact details handily available, so I used to do events for them and sales coordination and all that. And I said this is not what I want to do in my life. And as luck would have it, I got an opportunity to work with the hotel industry in the sales
Hmm.
office. So I said okay, my dream is coming true, and I got there. And from there again, working there for 2 years, and then I realized you're actually not doing anything. You're only selling rooms and banquets. There is no creativity, there is nothing new that you're doing in this role. So then I decided to take a break again. Very early in my career, I had just done about some 2.5 years of work, and I decided to take a break. And that's when recruitment happened to me, and that was probably
Okay.
my third option that I want to get into. And then
Hmm.
worked in recruitment, and then I had my calling of leaving that job and starting on my own, etc. On that, so my life has been like a roller coaster. And in the last 6 7 years that I'm on my own, I've done a lot of different things. And when I offer that as a portfolio as a gig worker today, a lot of things that I offer. So that's how the tagline, which says unlimited edition with a lot of potential. Yeah,
Yeah, limited edition with unlimited potential.
potential. Yeah.
Amazing. In fact, that's one of the things that always struck me with about your career and movements is, and now I know that you kind of accidentally got into it, very similar to me. But you've like even in the HR and recruitment, you've changed different portfolios as you mentioned. So you're not just HR and recruiter; you do multiple things, right? I mean, you have your own gig firm called Socially. You do trainings, whether these are personal branding, social media, recruitment kind of trainings. You're also so much associated. I mean, people who are listening, she's associated with bunch of HR and diversity kind of organizations like NHRD, Source Pro, Recruiting Adda. Obviously, she's one of our co-founders at Recruiting Adda. Then I think it just goes on and on. Um, Apart from that, obviously, you do consulting for multiple organizations in HR and recruiting or even social media. So, how did you? I mean, do you think this was your calling? Because a lot of traditional professionals would start with, let's say, a fresher role and then eventually get on to become head of HR, head of recruitment, or become specialist. I mean, there is a concept of T-shaped versus V-shaped career and all of it. But gig working, was this something that you intentionally did, or it kind of happened as your career kind of moved into different segments, and you thought, oh, I would rather work in a menu card rather than just eat one of part of it. How did that
Yeah.
transition happen?
So for me, gig working definitely landed in my lap, I would say. I had
Hmm.
not planned to be a gig worker. When I quit my happy job way back in 2016, Coffee Day, when I was heading the talent acquisition there, very early in my career, I decided that, I want to do something on my own. And that was not recruitment. So doing recruitments for almost 12 years, I think. And then I decided that I want to do something which is not in recruitment, because I
Okay.
knew recruitment had kind of become my lifeline. I enjoyed doing it. But when I was looking to start something on my own, I was very clear that if I would spend, even if I say I'm still doing recruitment, I would still end up doing 80 90% of my work in recruitment, and what I want to do or do something different would not happen. So that was my conscious decision to stay away from recruitment for the first couple of years. And that's how social was born, helping individuals, entrepreneurs, students, use social media for work, build their personal brand, etc. on that. But what happened to me, Sarang, is I definitely started with an idea, and I thought there's a problem that I'm solving, and it is a problem today as well. And there are a lot of people doing the similar work now in the similar space. uh, but every client, every individual that I interacted with, their requirements were
Hmm.
unique as well as different and challenging for me. So I did not say no to them. I said, okay, this is what your problem statement is. Let me see how I can help you out. With the experience that I had was in operations, sales, project management, already doing that, then recruitment. With that coming into social media, personal branding, I kind of understood the audience on the other side as well. If for example, if I'm looking to build my personal brand, you also need to look at who's your target audience, what are you looking to do that, why they should connect with you, why they should follow you, all of that stuff. So I think I had that advantage because I understood the audience from the other side as well. So that kind of helped me solve the problem for my the first few clients, and the people that I interacted with. And that happened for the first 4 5 years. I was going well, doing well for myself, and I had started enjoying, made my brand, socialize everything on that, and then COVID hit. And I
Okay.
had a lot of people who were individuals who were my client. It was not large corporates. I used to work with a lot of individuals, entrepreneurs, etc. So the first thing was a lot of people the first lockdown that we definitely had, the first this thing of COVID, first hit of COVID. A lot of people actually put a hold on all the marketing activities, extra budgeting, all of that per se on it, because you don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 6 months and all that. So I also went slow there, and I said, okay, let's see how what happens next and all that. And I kept doing a little bit of work, whatever that was there. And it so happened that because of my project management experience and also working with a lot of communities, NHRD, sourcing adda, now the recruiting adda, was I've done a lot of event management, doing conferences, getting speakers, sponsors, doing a work around that. And because of that, I got the opportunity to work with Interweave. They were looking to do their conferences. So that's how I got the project management work with them. Started the work, and then during the COVID time, we managed to take all the NHRD programs online. Even we did the NHRD HR showcase online, virtually. And then again, Interweave wanted to do a virtual conference during the COVID time. So I helped them do that. So that's how Interweave happened to me. And after 6 months of working with them on that project for the virtual conference, we got so comfortable working with each other that the team came and said that, we want to work with you more. And I said, things are really different, and I don't know how I can work with you as an organization. I'm not a DI professional. They are in the DEI training. They said, let's see, let's work out. So we spent some couple of months to figure out what it is, and finally they carved a role for me. I said, yes, that's good. That's nice to have. But I will not leave my firm social and the other community work and the trainings that I do. I would want to continue with that. And they were absolutely okay with it. So I think that was the first, I would say, breakpoint for me, where an organization was ready to accept me with all the work that I was already doing. And they said, help us as well, and you'd take your retainer fees, etc. on that, but I would be like an employee or a consultant to them, etc. So that happened. And while I was just closing on the contract with Interweave, happened to speak to the current CHRO of Wildcraft. She was my ex-colleague at Cafe Coffee Day, and she actually had called me over the weekend to ask for some references. She was looking to hire someone in TA space. And she said, what are you doing? I said, no, after COVID we are just coming back to work, etc., and this is what I'm just picking up and things like that. She said, okay, I need some references, etc. And a couple of days down the line, she calls me and says, why don't you take up this assignment? And she said, I'm very clearly looking at someone who manages my mid to senior level mandates, but working from home. I don't want the person in the office. I was like, okay, but I said, I already have 4 things on my plate. She said, but that's nothing in the TA. I said, yeah, there's nothing in TA space that I'm doing, and I've taken a conscious break from TA. She said, yeah, but once a recruiter, you're always a recruiter. You can't get recruiter out of your life. I said, that's true. And I'm always connected with recruiters because of SourcePro. I've been training recruiters. So just that I'm not doing hands-on sourcing. So she's like, think about it. Then I went back to interview and I said, this is what I've got. And they said, it's not conflict of interest. Business is different. Work is different. Until and unless our work doesn't get affected, we're absolutely okay with it. So that's when my first breakthrough again happened, where two organizations in two different roles were willing for me to work as an individual. That time gig was not even in my mind, but it was two different projects that were coming into my hand, and both the parties were absolutely okay with it. They said, until unless our work doesn't get affected, we're absolutely fine with that. I said, that I'll manage, that I'll take care of it. So that's how my role at Winterweave and Wildcraft started. um, exactly a day apart. It was like that. So I started
Okay.
15 June Interweave and 16 June Wildcraft. It was like that. So both of them landed at me, at the same time. So, and obviously, when I'm working with both the organization, I would tell the world I'm not hiding anything. It's all there out on LinkedIn. Then obviously, I was a trainer at Source Pro. I had social life firm, and then being a LinkedIn trainer or a LinkedIn expert, my audience would always get confused. When a recruiter or anybody else is looking someone's profile, if they say I'm working here and then it's open ended, it's not closed. Obviously, we feel that the profile is not updated, and I thought maybe I'm not giving that right information to my viewers, my audience there on LinkedIn. And that's when I started thinking, what is it that will help me? And that's how I coined and I started using gig worker on my profile, because I was working with 4 or 5 organizations at the same time.
Okay, that's a very very interesting journey. So what you're saying is essentially the gig working kind of happened based on your different experiences, your network, the different skills and different interest areas that you got. Right? I mean, you
Yeah.
didn't just stick to recruitment, and even after coming out of recruitment, you still kind of managed to work on different multiple projects. But Mitch, what drives you to do this? I mean, in the initial phase, I guess people are, even in the HR or anywhere, they would just want to cement their career, their skills into one part, and then okay, let's see how does that evolve. But what really drove you to take a conscious decision at maybe at some point of time? Hey, I'm going to work on multiple things, because that also comes with its own insecurity in a way, right? Because you don't know how these projects will pan out, whether they will continue for 6 months or will shut down. And again, if you're working on consulting assignments, obviously there's no commitment of continuing the work for 6 months, 12, or whatever. And also it comes with its own challenges on managing finances and income and all of it. So how did you thought about it? And if there are people in the community, in the HR community, who are looking to go this route, I'm sure some of them are already working on their own. But even if you're working on your own, working on different portfolios is also different, right? It also involves a bit of a reskilling, training, getting into newer territory. So how did you manage, and um, what kind of risk mitigation that you did to ensure that this becomes a long term career option and not just like a stopgap arrangement? I'll try to do something and return back to, let's say, permanent working the way everyone does.
Yeah.
So,
So I think that's in me, and that's me as a person, that I
hmm,
don't want to limit myself to only one thing.
hmm,
Even if I'm doing a recruitment role or I'm doing a sourcing, I always have, like a typical recruiter, you have different channels of sourcing, etc., like that. Like, I mean,
hmm,
you have options A, B, C, and all that.
hmm,
Likewise, in my role and in my life as well, I'm not someone who will continue doing the same thing. I
hmm,
love variety of things. And
hmm,
that's precisely the reason the first 2 jobs that I've done in recruitment are with recruitment firms, consulting firms. The
hmm,
reason being, it gave me the opportunity to work in different industries.
hmm,
Though it was, whether it was Merin and Associates or whether it was a HRF role at ABC, where I was only focusing on, though my roles at ABC were focusing on HR and finance, but I
hmm,
was working across the industries. And Merin, I've done everything. When I started my career in Merin, probably a role which was, as minimum as a 3 lakh salary to about 50 lakh kind of a salary. I've seen the entire range around that, etc. So I think
hmm,
that is something which gives me the excitement. Every call, every person that I'm talking to, I have to like switch on and switch off,
hmm,
because I have to change. So currently, also when I work with 4 different clients, and none of the clients are in the similar space.
hmm,
One, I'm managing branding and communication for them. One, I'm managing client engagement for them. One is TA, and one is training. So the people that I'm talking to, whether they're clients or their vendors, their clients or candidates, etc. So every call, I have to switch myself, and I think that excites me, because it's not mundane, it's not boring for me.
hmm.
That gives me the flavor.
Okay, okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, if we, I think again, a lot of people might not know that Mitch is also a food influencer. If you follow her on social media, you will also see that she goes and attend, either these events or go and try food in different kind of menus, different cities. Uh, her Instagram is always filled with the tags, and I think she has a good network in this space. So, Mitch, how did that happen? Was it a more of a personal hobby, or you kind of again to work consciously to build that as one of the segments of your personal brand?
Okay. So, food blogger or food influencing was never the thought when I started or when I got
Mm,
into it.
mm,
From childhood, I've been a foodie. I love to
mm,
cook. I love to experiment with food,
mm,
try out different and new dishes, etc. So, maybe it's in the genes because of my mom and my mom's mom. They loved cooking as well. So I started cooking probably when I was in fifth standard.
Hmm.
So that's how my journey with the cooking was evolved. And when I moved to Bangalore, it so happens, Arang, that the connect that I had in Bangalore was only my colleagues,
Okay.
and they really can't be your friends where you're hanging out over the weekend, etc. On that, right? I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, once in a while you go out for a coffee or for a drink, it's fine, but they're not your network or connect,
Hmm.
so that's when I think, when I was in ABCs, that's when I think I started looking at groups opportunities to go out and meet new people and network, apart from my HR and recruitment space that I was in.
Okay.
And that's how I came across this group called Bangalore Foodies Group in on Facebook. It still exists, over 2
Mm-hmm.
lakh members, etc. on that. But I think when I joined, we were just about some 10,000 people or less than that kind of thing. So they used to have these regular meetups, or wherever there's an event happening, they would host and put about it. That time it was to be all paid, not the free food that today's influencer gets, etc. So
Hmm.
someone would probably decide that we're going to this restaurant or a new menu is launched. They will discuss with that restaurant and say, we will come in a group of 15. You tell us what's the best that you can give as a group
Yeah.
discount, or the best service, or you give us some goodies as free or desserts as free or something like that. So we used to have that kind of a deal. And that's how I started going out. And when you go, you enjoy the food, you're in a good company, so you obviously post about it.
Hmm.
So we used to post on Facebook, and we used to have our groups where we're telling people that I tried this or I made this particular dish, and we used to post that. So that's how my journey started. And then came the Instagram era and things like that. So the early users of Instagram would know it wasn't like this what it is today. But
Yeah.
there it was like how we used to have our own journals or blogs. People used to write their
Hmm.
recipes, travel experiences, movie reviews and things like that on the blogs. And then suddenly it started moving to everything to Instagram in the audio
Yeah.
video version of it. So that's how I started using Instagram, started posting wherever I would travel, whatever I would eat, cook, etc. on that. And that's how the journey it is. And that's how then, you kind of get recognized. People invite you to events, PR invites you, all that. So again, not planned, but yeah.
Great. I think that's perfect example of going with the flow. I think your personal like food for love kind of translated in a way.
Yeah.
And plus you obviously have a social media expertise, so that kind of work. So great. I mean, so while I think you have come this far in terms of building, as you said, like a portfolio of different services, different skills, what you've been doing, and so what's your future plans? Are you will you continue doing this? Are there any other things that you are looking to add into your portfolio, or you would just go with the flow, as you said?
One is definitely go with the flow, but second, I see a lot of opportunities in this space. uh,
Mm-hmm.
so like everybody keeps talking about this gig worker or freelancing thing now, right? Or the moonlighting,
Right.
which happened in the last couple of years, etc. on that. But for me, this has been existing forever, just that the
Hmm.
the terms, the jargons keep changing. If you
Right.
look at the services that we get at home, whether it's a painter or a carpenter, etc. If you look at those, they've been doing these kinds of role. They are servicing at multiple projects, right?
Hmm.
This particular building, then next project and things like that. You look at doctors, they are practicing. They have their own clinic. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, they're visiting bigger hospitals or other hospitals where they visit on a consultant basis, etc. on that. So they are
Right.
also the ones. So if you look at it, and then we had this mode of freelancers where it was largely to do with your graphic work and your content work, or a website developer and things like that per se onto it. Where again that phase was there where we could find these kind of people, and they would not talk about saying that I'm working with this client. They would
Hmm.
always say it's confidential, we can just only show you this is what we've done, but not for a client, we have an NDA and things like that. So then there was that space of it where freelancing work is going on, but you're not telling whom you're working for.
Hmm.
And then came people talking about doing different things, moonlighting, and then the good gig working thing, gig economy, all that. Even the
Hmm.
gig economy or gig worker, we've been talking about for the last few years, but a
Yeah.
lot of companies are still facing that challenge to accept it. Because
Yeah.
see, what happens in this space is, like I am, I always get discussed on this, when my role with interview was starting, I discussed with them what I'm already doing and I'll continue to do them. They said that's fine. The moment
Hmm.
Wildcraft came to me, I went back and spoke to interview about this, that I'm picking
Hmm.
up this one. The moment I
Hmm.
got the third assignment, I went back and spoke to interview and Wildcraft both that this is what I'm picking up, because I don't
Hmm.
want it to be a surprise for them. I mean, I'm going to talk about it
Right.
everywhere on that, right? But
Right.
that's the level of confidence that I build in with the clients, because I'm being very
Hmm.
fair and open to it that this is what I'm doing,
Hmm.
and with this is also I'm doing. If I'm picking up something, if I'm leaving something, my clients are aware of it. If you go to LinkedIn profile, you'll see all the assignments that I've done in the last 3 years as a gig.
Hmm.
And it's
Hmm.
clearly, I mean, there's no option on LinkedIn to say gig, so I use the word part-time there,
Hmm.
on that. But it's very clearly available, and I'm telling the world this is what I've done on that, right? So there are a
Hmm.
lot of times when people are not able to take this to the next level, go and communicate that way, be fair and open to it,
Correct.
and likewise the corporates, bigger companies have this thing of NDA,
Hmm.
confidentiality and things like that on that. So we still a long way to go. But for the roles that I think, which is in project management, program management, recruitment, uh, you know these are
Okay.
typically the roles where I see a load of gig roles coming in.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Great. So, just a last question before we wrap it up. From your experience of obviously coming from HR recruitment and now doing multiple things, and if others in the community would like to be a gig worker, I think at some point of time in the career journey, there maybe a time comes when you don't want to get bogged down by one employer, and really want to grow in different horizons. What would be your learning or a tip that you want to share with the HR community in terms of how they can do that, how they can prepare to take that jump with, again, with all the opportunities and all the risks that come with it? Uh, what would be your hat tip for that?
Okay. So, if Sarang, for me, it's if you are in a full time job or doing a gig or a freelancer or starting your own firm, setting up everything, there are pros and cons of it. There is risk. One needs to have that risk appetite, to build it up, etc. On that. So, but I would definitely say a couple of things. Is one, don't take this as as an option for you. Oh,
Hmm.
today I lost my job, or I'm bored with my job, I've just quit it, let me try gig,
Hmm.
let me try this. Because there are lot of people available to do certain things for you.
Hmm.
If you look at today, even if I look at in program management or in just in TA, from a
Hmm.
3-month contract to a long term contract to a full time jobs, everything is available today.
Hmm.
And there's a problem of plenty
Hmm.
today,
Yeah.
right? So if whoever is starting getting into this wants to make this as their success, as as something that they want to continue doing this, please don't look as a then option for me. I'm not getting anything, so let me try this. No.
Hmm.
And there is a risk involved in that. When you're in a full-time job, you have your salary, your salary coming in by first or seventh or whatever. When you work on gig roles, there are times when your payments are delayed by 3 months, 6 months. There are the clients are very particular about it. You raise the invoice, the next day the payment comes in your system on that. But like you have it in your job today, you have the job, tomorrow you may get a pink slip, you don't know.
Hmm.
Suddenly the company today is saying we are hiring 500 people, and the next week it will say that we are downsizing by 1,000 people. So things like that can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
So, but there it will happen to the other factor, the organization factor. The other factors are involved in that. Here whatever you do, it's everything evolves around you. So
Correct.
one needs to be very clear on where we are heading onto it. And also, like always we say, in recruitment, specifically in the role, saying that don't put your entire money on one candidate, right? You never know
Hmm.
whether the other candidate will join or not. So likewise, when you're offering gig as a services, if not, like, I was lucky enough, I got 5 different things in my last 20 years. I've managed to learn this, pick it up, etc. Not saying that, like the saying which says, trade, what is that, jack and trade of everything, right? No.
Yeah.
So
Jack of trade.
jack of everything and trade
Oh,
nothing kind of thing. So it's not like that. But pick up your 2 or 3 services that you can pick it up. One is, like, for example, if you come from a TA fraternity, I'm sure there are other 2 things which are definitely attached to is, how do you do your interviews, How do you
mm,
do your resumes?
mm,
Helping the clients, candidates, etc., both the sides of it, right? So make that as a service also available,
mm,
with training, with recruitment, what all that you have done in your career of 5 10 years, whatever that you've worked with it. So I was not someone who did training, or in my career that I worked with the organizations, but that was my passion. Again, I started my career as a teacher. A lot of people don't know about it. This was much before my graduation. I did that.
mm,
Somewhere it's in the genes. My grandparents were teachers. So something came in natural for me on that. So I picked up training, and it was a very
mm,
simple training that I started with, going to colleges and teaching them. How do you write your resume? How do you attend
mm,
your interview?
mm,
Way back, 15 years back, I did that, and from there I've built it on, and that has come as a service to me on that. So don't put all your cards on one particular skill or a service. Have two or three which is aligns with it, and also have different kinds of clients or people that you work with.
mm,
That will also give you that opportunity, because suddenly that they decide to the industry decides to stop hiring.
mm.
There's recession, there's so much which happens right around it. So you have different things that you could look at it. And with that, I would always say that have something. One is, this is what is giving you bread and butter,
Mm,
which is helping you pay your bills. But apart from that, somewhere work on it, whether you're working with some NGOs, whether you're with some communities, community building, your networking, etc. Giving back to the society, do that. Because if there are times when you don't have, when you're not billing, when you're not
mm.
charging your client, you're at least keeping yourself busy with something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Great. Mitch, it's been really interesting conversation. We normally end our talk with a fireside question. So I'm going to ask you four questions. It's
Okay.
either or. Please be don't diplomatic. Um, so first question is recruitment or social media?
Recruitment any day.
Okay. Bangalore or Ahmedabad?
Oh, that's actually. But yeah, mm, Ahmedabad is first love. Bangalore is where money is. I would say that.
Your professional career love, let's
Yeah.
say. Okay. Uh, Cooking at house or going out for food?
Very difficult choices that you're giving, Sarah. I mean, enjoy both. But yeah,
Yeah.
first option I would say cooking at home. Yeah.
Okay. And LinkedIn or Instagram?
LinkedIn. I
Uh,
owe it to LinkedIn today. What I am is because of LinkedIn. Been using it from 2005. So
okay.
yeah, so LinkedIn.
Great. I'm sure LinkedIn will be happy to hear that. Great. So, Mitch, if anyone from the community wants to reach out to you, how they can do that and where they can do that?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you do Google Mitch Duddani, you will get everything, my coordinates, everything, LinkedIn, Instagram, I'm available. As I said, I offer all my services online. People can just book it. I have a page on TopMate. The link is also available on my LinkedIn account. TopMate is a platform which helps me connect with people. People can book my services, etc. So that's an easier way for them to know what all services that I offer. So yeah, TopMate or LinkedIn. Just Google Mitch Dudani and you will find me.
Okay, perfect. Great. Which has been really lovely having conversation with you, unfolding the journey that you've had, unfolding different experiences that you've shared with the community. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who will be inspired by what you shared. And obviously, if they are looking to go on to that, yeah, sometimes difficult yet interesting journey of being a gig worker, breaking the barriers, breaking the glass ceilings, and trying to do something different. I'm sure your career journey would inspire them. So thank you so much for being part of it, and I hope you also had a good experience talking about your journey and your experiences.
Yes, I loved it, and I kind of took me back where I started and where am I today. So I think I have some reflections, to look at it over this weekend. Thank you to you, Sarang, and yeah.
No problem. No problem. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again. Just shout out to Recruiting Adda, who's our partner in this program. And yeah, I mean, we'll We'll keep having more such conversations. Do let me know if anyone who's listening have an interesting HR person that would like to feature on this podcast. I would love to have a conversation like this. If there are any referrals, recommendation, do let us know. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and spread the love. Share this with anyone else who you think would be benefited by listening to Mitch's story. With that, thank you so much. And I promise we'll be back very soon with the next episode. Mitch, thank you so much and have a
Thank
lovely
you.
day.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.